Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watch You Want, and thanks for logging on. Crank up your Steve Vai, because I'm taking you back to another 80s icon that has not missed a beat. This is the Rolex Datejust, reference 16013, 18-karat yellow gold and stainless steel two-tone, 36 millimeters, with the unique, distinctive, and I would even say iconic Tapestry dial. This watch is in so many ways, from the combination of the Datejust and the Jubilee bracelet, to the fluted bezel and the tapestry dial, to the two-tone metal treatment. Just an 80s icon, like the movie Wall Street, like a 6-string, or should I say 7-string, Mr. Steve Vai, Ibanez guitar. This watch is redolent of its era and evocative of an exciting, dynamic, and unforgettable period in time. This watch takes you back, but unlike so many period icons, this one remains cool, collectible, and ultra desirable into the 21st century. Let's put it on my wrist and let's talk a little bit about the look, the fit, and the feel of this watch. Now, the Rolex reference 16000 series, basically everything that's 16,000 beyond, fits, wears, and basically is a modern Datejust. So the 16013 looks like a modern 36mm Datejust. Mechanically, eyes closed, it's all but indistinguishable. This looks and wears like a modern watch with all the practicality inherent, but with a certain measure of vintage patina that I'll get to in a moment. But it's the fit that sets this one apart. The combination of the Jubilee bracelet and the large 36mm Oyster case makes for a gorgeous impression on almost any wrist size. It's perfect for a smaller wrist like mine, 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference. The stance is ideal. Now, all Rolex Oyster cases look bigger than they are because the flared lugs of the Oyster cases make them bigger than their nominal measurement, whether it's 36, 40, 41, 44 millimeters. They all wear larger. So although this watch is 36 millimeters in circumference, the reality is that it wears and looks bigger. But it's also quite comfortable. And a big part of that comfort factor is the souplesse of the 5-link Rolex Jubilee bracelet. Now you see, I would say, an equal number of Datejusts on Oysters, the 3-link sport design, and Jubilees, the finer, more supple, more flexible 5-link design. But in this case, I feel that with the fluted bezel, with the tapestry dial, with the two-tone metallic treatment, to complete the real period ambiance, and I would say distinctly dress watch inflection of this particular Datejust, the Jubilee is just perfect. Plus, if you have a smaller wrist, whereas the Oyster can sometimes be bulky and fight back a little bit if your wrist is unconventionally shaped, the ability of the Jubilee to curve and conform is unrivaled in the Rolex catalog. So from an ergonomic standpoint, this is also the trump card. But the bottom line is that the watch looks the business, and it feels outstanding on the wrist. I want to go into some of the details of the dial because they really set this apart even from other two-tone Jubilee Datejusts from the rockin' 80s. The bottom line is that this watch is all about the tapestry dial. Now, since 2005, this has been a discontinued dial style, so it's a bit of a rarity these days. You don't see it too often, and it's sought by collectors. So the potential for the collector desirability and the investment potential of this watch going forward is definitely better than the average bear among discontinued Rolex references. It plays beautifully with the applied yellow-gold indices, the matching yellow-gold hands at center, and two interesting patina elements that really enhance this watch. The first is the fact that this is a tritium dial. So outboard of each of the applied yellow-gold indices, you see a small, increasingly ecru or eggshell colored dot of tritium lume, and there are matching lumed inserts on the hands. You can also see that the dial features a Cyclops magnifier over a distinctly aged date disc, and as the original date disc, the patina has proceeded in parallel with the dots of lume on the dial itself, but everything here is gorgeous, consonant, and complementary, from the yellow gold crown to the fluted yellow gold bezel to that beautiful 5-point Rolex golden coronet at 12 o'clock. The color of the gold matches the patina on the date disc and the increasingly aged and evocative tritium patina around the circumference of the hour track. It's gorgeous in ways Rolex never even intended. And of course, the golden gilt style printing on the dial just enhances the effect. This is a unique piece. It's almost got the quality of a teak boat deck to it. Evocative, iconic, romantic. It does take you back. Now that particular part of the watch isn't necessarily iconic of the 80s, just iconic of the classical Rolex Datejust. But taken as a whole, this watch brings you back like the Lamborghini Countach, like Island Packet yachts, like a white Armani suit with a black t-shirt, Miami Vice. This is a piece of that. It is a sign of the times. It's a timer of the times. It's got a share of the zeitgeist from the late 1980s, and this is a relatively low R code serial number, so we would date this watch from roughly the middle to late 1987 period. So that really is the height of the era of greed. But we're going to look at it through rose, or should I say yellow gold colored glasses, and celebrate the best of the 80s, because that's really what you're getting with the Rolex Datejust 16013. This two-tone is a piece of history, but it's also a remarkably usable contemporary watch. Now the 30-35 caliber, I mentioned it in passing earlier, but it makes the watch effectively a modern timepiece for all practical intents and purposes. One of the downsides, the drawbacks of a true vintage piece, I'm talking 70s, 60s, 50s, is oftentimes there are care and feeding restrictions. There are sometimes idiosyncrasies. They will not keep time as well. Parts can be scarce. But the bottom line is the 30-35 was really the first of the modern Rolex calibers. 4 Hertz high beat, that's your 28,800 vibration per hour beat rate. It's also automatic bidirectional. It features hacking seconds, so as a COSC Swiss chronometer, you can set it precisely to a reference timer. It's got a free-sprung escapement with Breguet overcoil hairspring, so it's very shock resistant, also resistant to thermal and positional timing deviations, and with the twin lock crown, you've got water resistance down to 100 meters, the same as something like a later GMT Master, Master 2, Explorer 2. So in every respect, but perhaps the aesthetic, it is as durable as a sports watch. Now this one is a little bit more genteel, a little bit more refined and upscale. Nevertheless, with a judicious blend of yellow gold and stainless steel, this one's going to be equally comfortable in long sleeves or short. So if you are that guy wearing the black t-shirt under the white Armani suit, feel free to keep this one on your wrist, suit jacket or not. Check out this icon of the 1980s, an enduring classic, the Rolex Datejust 16013 two-tone Tapestry dial on our website, Watch You Want.